Welcome to Ashake. We'll be teaching how to cut this straight skirt with side ruffles. Please don't forget to subscribe. I measured 2 inches upwards for the band, then mark a line 9 inches, which is my hip length. Hip length varies. It can be 10, it can be 9, depending on the most protruding parts of the person's butt. Then I'm chalking the skirt length. The next thing is the sewing allowance for the skirt length, which is 2 inches. I'm rolling it out. Then my measurements. My waist, which is 28 divided by 4 is 7, plus 2 inches sewing allowance. Then my hip, which is 40 divided by 4, which gives me 10 inches, plus 2 inches sewing allowance. And then for my base, which is the down part of the skirt, I'm just going to remove 1 inch from the total of my hip measurement and then still put the sewing allowance. So that's 9 plus 2 inches sewing allowance. This depends on how tight you want your skirt to be, how pencil you want the base to be, because of course we are cutting a pencil skirt. Then I'm joining the sewing allowance lines. I'm joining the 2 inches lines. Then I'll be using a curve roller for the hip and the skirt waist, just to give me that curve between your skirt waist and your hip. Then let's cut out. I'll be notching the upper part just to make sure I know the difference between the upper part and the base. So make sure you notch so that you don't get confused. So this is the shape of the front. I'm shaping the front curve a bit. I don't want that pointed, sharpy look. So now to the back. My fabric is folded into 2, as you can see. It's on fold also, but both folds are facing me. Now I'll be measuring 2 inches all the way down. These 2 inches, I call it zipper allowance and bum allowance. So those are the 2 things I use these 2 inches for. Watch me as I go on. I'm joining the lines. I'm joining the 2 inches line. So that's that for the 2 inches line. Now don't forget the 2 inches for the band that we're putting upwards. So I'm chalking the hip length, which is 9. I ruled it out. Now after the hip length, which is 9, I will also measure another 9 on the hip length. That will give me 18. So that place is for my butt allowance. On that 9 inches, I'll take a measurement of 2 inches. I'll slant that 2 inches on the hip length. Watch me as I slant. So that's the slant for the butt allowance. Let me give you a clearer view. The 2 inches slanted on the butt, on the hip allowance, sorry. So now I'm taking the 2 inches all the way to the skirt length. Note, this 2.5 inch is for the darts. I just chalked 2.5 inch in front of the 2 inches for the butt and the zip allowance. So now let's place the front on the back. If you look at it very well, you will notice that my front is placed on the back from the 2.5 inch dart allowance. So my front is not exceeding that part, and the base is also joining on my 2 inches chalked out earlier. So now the zipper allowance, which is 1.5, chalking from the 2 inches allowance that we chalked out before. The 2 inches all the way down. As you can see, it is entering in to the butt allowance. Please take note of this part. It's really crucial. The 1.5 all the way to the base of the skirt. Then we'll cut out. There's no need for much measurement at the back, because our body circumference, we are using the front to cut it out already. Don't forget the front is placed on the back already. That is why there is no need for body circumference measurement. That's the front on the back. Now, to get the darts, I would chalk out my sewing allowance, which is 2 inches. Let me chalk it out. Then measure all I have left on the skirt waist from that 2 inches all the way to the zipper allowance. I have 10. So 10 plus 1 will give you 11. Then I'll divide my 11 into 2, which will give me 5.5. So that 5.5 chalked from the zipper allowance will be where I'm putting my darts. I'm notching it out, so there will be no need to remeasure again. I'm notching out the zipper allowance too. So now the band. So my band is measured according to my skirt waist. The total of my skirt waist plus my zipper allowance, which is 1.5 in 2 places, that's 3, plus extra, maybe like 3 or 4 inches. The width of my band is 5 inches. Once I fold it and I join it to the skirt, we would have our 2 inches that we left on the upper part. So that will serve as the dart. Watch how I fold it. I'm going to fold it like this and press with iron. So you see I have my 2 inches. Please watch the part 2 to know how to sew this skirt. Now these are for the side